Gōjū-ryū, Japanese for hard-soft style, is one of the main traditional Okinawan styles of karate, featuring a combination of hard and soft techniques. Both principles, hard and soft, come from the famous martial arts book used by Okinawan masters during the 19th and 20th centuries. The Bubishi Gō, which means hard, refers to closed-hand techniques or straight linear attacks. Jū, which means soft, refers to open-hand techniques and circular movements. Gōjū-ryū incorporates both circular and linear movements into its curriculum, combining hard striking attacks such as kicks and close-hand punches with softer open-hand circular techniques for attacking, blocking, and controlling the opponent, including locks, grappling, takedowns and throws. Major emphasis is given to breathing correctly in all of the katas, but particularly in the Sanshin kata, which is one of two core katas of this style. The second kata is called Tensho, meant to teach the student about the soft style of the system. Gōjū-ryū practices methods that include body strengthening and conditioning, its basic approach to fighting, and partner drills. History. The development of Gōjū-ryū goes back to Higa-onna Kanryo, a native of Naha, Okinawa. Higa-onna began studying shurite as a child. He was first exposed to martial arts in 1867 when he began training in Luohan or Arhat boxing under Arakaki Saisho, a fluent Chinese speaker and translator for the court of the Ryukyu Kingdom. In 1870, Arakaki went to Beijing to translate for Ryukyuan officials. It was then that he recommended Higa-onna to Kojo Taite, under whom Higa-onna began training. With the help of Taite and a family friend, Higa-onna eventually managed to set up safe passage to China, lodging, and martial arts instruction. In 1873, he left for Fuzhou in Fujian, China, where he began studying Chinese martial arts under various teachers. In 1877 he began to study under Yuyuko. Tokashi Keikan has identified him as Xie Zhongxiang, founder of Whooping Crane Kung Fu. Zhongxiang taught several Okinawan students who went on to become karate legends. Higa-onna returned to Okinawa in 1882 and continued in the family business of selling firewood, while teaching a new school of martial arts, distinguished by its integration of Go-no and Juno Kenpo into one system. Higa-onna's style was known as Naha-te. Gōjū-kai history considers that Chinese Nanpa Shorin-ken was the strain of kung fu that influenced this style. Higa-onna Morio noted that in 1905, Higa-onna Kanryo taught martial arts in two different ways, according to the type of student. At home, he taught Naha-te as a martial art whose ultimate goal was to be able to kill the opponent. However, at Naha Commercial High School, he taught karate as a form of physical, intellectual and moral education. Higa-onna's most prominent student was Chojun Miyagi, the son of a wealthy shop owner in Naha, who began training under Higa-onna at the age of 14. Miyagi had begun his martial arts training under Arakaki at age 11, and it was through Arakaki that he was introduced to Higa-onna. Miyagi trained under Higa-onna for 15 years until Higa-onna's death in 1916. In 1915, Miyagi and a friend Gokenki went to Fuzhou in search of Higa-onna's teacher. They stayed for a year and studied under several masters, but the old school was gone due to the Boxer Rebellion. Shortly after the return, Higa-onna died. Many of Higa-onna's students continued to train with Miyagi, and he introduced a kata called Tensho, which he had adapted from Rokushu of Fujian White Crane. Higa-onna's most senior student Yuhatsu Kyoda formed a school he called Tunyu, preserving more of Higa-onna's approach to Naha-te. In 1929, delegates from around Japan were meeting in in Kyoto for the All-Japan Martial Arts demonstration. Miyagi was unable to attend, and so he in turn asked his top student Jinan Shinsato to go. While Shinsato was there, one of the other demonstrators asked him the name of the martial art he practiced. At this time, Miyagi had not yet named his style. Not wanting to be embarrassed, Shinsato improvised the name Hanko-yu. On his return to Okinawa Prefecture, he reported this incident to Chojun Miyagi, who decided on the name Gōjū-ryū as a name for his style. Chojun Miyagi took the name from a line of the poem Haku Kenpo, which roughly means the 8 laws of the fist and describes the 8 precepts of the martial arts. This poem was part of the Bubishi and reads, Howa Gōjū wa Donto Su. The way of inhaling and exhaling is hardness and softness, or everything in the universe inhales soft and exhales hard. In March 1934, Miyagi wrote Karate de Geizetsu to introduce Karate-do and to provide a general explanation of its history, philosophy, and application. This handwritten monograph is one of the few written works composed by Miyagi himself. Miyagi's house was destroyed during World War II. In 1950, several of his students began working to build a house and dojo for him in Naha, which they completed in 1951. In 1952, they came up with the idea of creating an organization to promote the growth of Gōjū-ryū. This organization was called Gōjū-ryū Shinkokai. The founding members were Seiko Higa, Kayoma Tanbashi, Jinsei Kamiya, and Genkai Arkima. There are 2 years that define the way Gōjū-ryū has been considered by the Japanese establishment. The first, 1933, is the year Gōjū-ryū was officially recognized as a Budo in Japan by Dai Nippon Butokugai. In other words, it was recognized as a modern martial art, or Gendai Budo. The second year, 1998, is the year the Dai Nippon Butokugai recognized Gōjū-ryū Karate-do as an ancient form of martial art and as a bujutsu. This recognition as a Koryu bujutsu shows a change in how Japanese society sees the relationships between Japan, Okinawa, and China. Until 1998, only martial arts practiced in mainland Japan by samurai had been accepted as Koryu bujutsu. Philosophy. Miyagi believed that the ultimate aim of Karate-do was to build character, conquer human misery, and find spiritual freedom. He stated that it was important to balance training for self-defense with training the mind, or cultivating the precept Karate-do Nisont Nashi. He also emphasized the importance of cultivating intellect before strength. Miyagi chose the name Gōjū-ryū to emphasize that his style integrated both hard and soft styles. Gōjū applies not just to karate, but to life in general. Only hardness or only softness will not enable one to deal effectively with the fluctuations of life. When blocking, the body is soft and inhaling. When striking, the body is hard and exhaling. Kata. Gōjū-ryū has 12 core kata in its standard curriculum. Gekasai, Saifa, Seiyunshin, Seisen, Saipai, Shizachin, Sanseirus, Kururunfa, Sanshin, Tensho, and Suparanpai. Students in most schools are required to know all of these kata before reaching Sandan. Morio Higaonna writes that karate begins and ends with kata. Kata is the essence and foundation of karate, and it represents the accumulation of more than 1,000 years of knowledge, formed by numerous masters throughout the ages through dedicated training and research. The kata are like a map to guide us, and as such should never be changed or tampered with. Almost all of the kata have a corresponding bunkai-oyo, a prearranged 2-person fighting drill. These drills help the student to understand the applications of the kata, establish establish proper rhythm flow, to practice constant attack-defense, and to safely practice dangerous moves on a partner. Kihongata. Kihongata means a kata of basics. Quote, in Gōjū-ryū, Sanchin kata is the foundation to all other Gōjū kata because it teaches basic movements, basic techniques, power generation and breathing techniques from Qigong. It is also the foundation of body conditioning. The more the karateka practices this kata, the more his Haishugata will change. First variation of Sanchin kata serves as Kihongata. See more on Sanchin kata below. Gekasai. Gekasai means attack and destroy. These kata were created around 1940 by Chojun Miyagi and Nagamine Shoshin as beginners kata, to introduce the basic forms of karate to middle school students in Okinawa, to help bring about the standardization of karate, and to teach a basic set of techniques for self-defense. Gekasai 8 were strongly influenced by the shurite techniques that Miyagi learned from Anko Itazu. Students first learned Gekasai Daiichi and then Gekasai Daini. The main difference between Daiichi and Daini is that Daini introduces open-handed techniques and new stances. It is in Gekasai Daini that students are introduced to the Neko Ashidachi stance and to the wheel block. Cypher. Cypher means smash and tear. Cypher has its origins in China, and was brought to Okinawa by Higashiono. It contains quick whipping motions, hammer fists, and back fist strikes. It particularly emphasizes moving offline from an opponent's main force, while simultaneously closing distance and exploding through them. This is usually the first advanced Gōjū-ryū kata the students learn in most Gōjū-kaiha, after Gekasai Daiichi and Gekasai Daini. Sanchin means 3 battles. This kata is a sort of moving meditation whose purpose is to unify the mind, body and spirit. The techniques are performed very slowly so that the student masters precise movements, breathing, stance, posture, internal strength, and stability of both mind and body. Sanchin is the foundation for all other kata, and is generally considered to be the most important kata to master. When new students came to Miyagi, he would often train them for 3 to 5 years before introducing them to Sanchin. He would make them train very hard, and many of them quit before learning Sanchin. Those that remained would focus almost exclusively on Sanchin for 2 to 3 years. Miyagi's Sanchin training was very harsh, and students would often leave practice with bruises from him checking the stance. Tensho. Tensho means revolving hands. Like Sanchin, Tensho is a form of moving meditation. Tensho combines hard dynamic tension with soft flowing hand movements, and concentrates strength in the tendon. Tensho can be considered the Ju counterpart of the Sanchin's Go style. Kaishugata. Kaishugata means a kata with open hands. Quote, this is more advanced than Haishugata. Kaishugata serves as a combat application reference kata and is open to vast interpretation of its movement's purpose. Seiyunchin. Sanchin kata demonstrates the use of techniques to unbalance, throw and grapple, contains close-quartered striking, sweeps, takedowns and throws. Shizachin. Kanji. Katakana. It integrates powerful linear attacks and circular movements and blocks. It was the favorite kata of the late Miyagi, Sanseiru's kanji, katakana. The kata teaches how to move around the opponent in close quarters fights, and emphasizes the destruction of the opponent's mobility by means of kanzetsujeri. Saipai. Kanji, katakana. Saipai incorporates both the 4-directional movements and 45 degrees angular attacks and implements techniques for both long-distance and close-quarter combat. This was the Seikichi Toguchi's specialty kata. Kururunfa. Kanji, katakana. Its techniques are based on the Chinese praying mantis style. It was Eiichi Miyazato's specialty kata. Seisen, kanji, katakana. Seisen is thought to be one of the oldest kata that is widely practiced among other Nahate schools. Other Raya also practice this kata or other versions of it. Superimpake kanji, katakana, also known as pekuran. It is the most advanced Gōjū-ryū kata. Initially it had 3 levels to master, later Miyagi left only one, the highest, Jo level. This was Amitoku Yagi's, Masanobu Shinjo, and Morio Higaonna's specialty kata. Fukugata. In 1940, Hayakawa, governor of Okinawa, assembled the Karate Special Committee, composed by Ashihara Shochoku's Miyagi Chojin, Kamiya Jinsei, Shinzato Jinan, Miyasato Koji, Tokuda Enbun, Kinjo Kensai, Kienshino, and Nagamin Shoshin. The goal was to create a series of Okinawan kata to teach physical education and very basic Okinawan, independent-style martial arts to school children. The goal was not to create a standardized karate as the Japanese had been doing with kendo and judo for the sake of popularization. This type of kata is not traditional Gōjū-ryū kata. Instead, they are promotional kata, simple enough to be taught as part of physical education programs at schools and part of a standardized karate syllabus for schools, independent of the sensei's style. Nagamin Shoshin developed Fukugata Daiichi, which is part of current Matsubayashi Shorin-ryu syllabus. Miyagi Chojin developed Fukugata Dai-ni, which is part of current Gōjū-ryū syllabus under the name Gekusai Daiichi. Some Gōjū-ryū dojos still practice Fukugata Daiichi. Miyagi also created Gekusai Dai-ni, but it is practiced by Gōjū-ryū and some offsprings only.